Okay, this is it's my fourth card, my final card for this morning. Couple thoughts. Why am I speaking out? Why am I saying something? I was a Christian. Okay, I was a Christian. I was into the apologetics. I studied the books. I was out in the stream. I was traveling up and down the East Coast talking to people from New York to Florida, nigga. You wouldn't even know it. People thought I had a master's PhD in theology just from talking with them, okay? That's why I'm opening up my mouth, because God, Christianity, you're full of shit. You full of shit. And now it's exposed. I have not met one good argument when you get real. I'm not talking about that William Lane Craig, Gary Habermas. I'm not talking about that Frank Turek bullshit, that cookie cutter answer. Do you know the second third? Do you know the second law of thermodynamics? Well, do you know the fifth, nigga? Do you know all five of them? Okay, I haven't met one good argument. I've not met one good argument at all that is in support to continue pushing this worldview on the world. Okay, and the reason why I'm speaking up against Christianity and talking about it is because Christianity chose to take over the world and tell everybody to believe this. Christianity, you put me through my depression and told me I was a piece of shit when I was a kid, and said you a sinner, you a wretch undone. God, it said God looked down on the earth and didn't find not one good. Filthy rags is what we call it. So you got children right now on this planet growing up thinking that they are filthy rags and pieces of shit in the eyes of God. I got a problem with that. And so do you. And so does your society, because when you grow up like that, these are the results. You see all this crime in the world, all this stuff, because people think they fucked up and being controlled by religion. That shit's got to stop. I'm saying I haven't met one good argument. Look. Hey, look. I ain't talking about that bullshit. I ain't talking about them cookie cutter answers. Look, nigga, I ain't talking about that cookie cutter I'm talking about them real shits, okay? How about we just Google to 10,000 BC, okay? The Bible starts off with Adam, okay? Adam is 4004 BC. I'm spitting facts. This what I'm saying. I'm gonna say something and ain't nobody gonna be able to say nothing against it. That's how you know it's true. Not just as that. I'm saying you know it's true because you know it's true. The Bible started off 4004 BC with Adam. Well, the Sphinx been on the planet at least long enough when it was rainforest back in North Africa, because it got weather deposits from the rainwater, from the rainfall. If the Sphinx got weather erosion in the desert from the rainfall, that means the Sphinx been on Earth when there was a rainforest in Egypt, in North Africa, Saharan desert. The whole Sahara Desert used to be a wild jungle, a rain jungle, a rainforest. The Sphinx was on the planet at that time. That's why it got weather erosion. So that means the Sphinx had to at least be around 8,000, 10,000 BC at least. The Bible start off talking 4004 BC, moving forward. The Bible start off talking 4004 BC, move forward. And then when you ask questions, that's why I'm speaking up. Every time you ask questions, it's always the devil. It's always the devil. Google Horus and his 12 disciples. 10,000 BC, he talking about I am the way, the truth, and the life. The Christ conscious has been around. The Christ has been in all worlds and all dimensions. The Christ, Horus, 10,000 BC, talking about I am the way, the truth, and the life. Horus, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Picking up the man on a mat with with his crippled legs, telling the lame man to walk. Horus in the Egyptian gospel. I'm talking about no, not 100 years before Jesus. I'm talking 10,000 years before Jesus. I said it. I said 10,000 years before Jesus. How is that possible? If I'm a Christian and I believe that, and I say, how in the world can Horus be saying these things? It's on the temple walls. How can Horus be saying I'm the way, the truth, and the life? If I'm a Christian, I have to ask that question. And the only answer available is that the devil did it, because God let the devil do it and beat Jesus to the punch. But that don't make sense, because then God is fucking up his own message. Facts. But this what I'm saying though. Ain't nobody gonna get on my comment. Ain't nobody gonna message me back on, not on this one. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing, because there's nothing to say. I do this. There is no good answer. Any answer to the question is going to take you out of the way of what the priests want. Any question is going to take you outside the paradigm of what the priests and the Pope and the papacy and the American government religious system, which you fucking scared of, which you shouldn't be, is going to take you outside the paradigm. And just by asking the question, that's why I said, go ahead, go home at night, just light your butt up. You can go on my page, Chemical Bonds, on YouTube, Chemical with a K. You can go on my page, Bonds E-Boy. I'm going to be asking questions for a minute. I might be asking questions for the rest of my life, okay? Because you're supposed to always be a student and keep learning, just like consciousness. Consciousness never stops. Consciousness always keeps learning. When the oak tree leaves fall off and it die and it go through all those storms and it gets blown by the wind. Don't you know the oak is taking in all that knowledge of the experience that it's been through, and if it gets pushed this way, it pushes the branches out this way and makes the tree stronger in that way. And then a flood comes or something happens, so it digs in deeper and it get all this new strength, and it keeps growing, and it keeps overstanding and getting better, like the phoenix rising, like Jesus on the falcon. Rise. That's what Christ the falcon bird is, or the thunderbird is. You always rise above your problems. That's why the oak tree is the symbol, because the oak tree takes on its struggles. It transfers that struggles into itself, and it expands its consciousness within itself, and then it passes all that information on to the very next generation. So the very next generation of oak trees is just as strong as the strongest that oak tree got in its past life. So consciousness never stops. Consciousness never stops developing. It goes down just like the summer and winter, and then it comes back to life and it gets stronger. And now we're coming back stronger. Our minds and hearts. See, we don't just live up here. We live here too. We gotta live with the chest. That's why he said, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest now. Now say it with your chest. Fuck all up in here, because up here is fear. This is fear. Scared of what? Scared of what? This is my dream. This is my world. I'm alive, okay? I am the living thing. You are the living Christ. Not the world tell you and you bow down and you're supposed to go forward based off what you think is going to be good for your survival. Oh, if I say this, I'm not going to be able to get a job. Or, you live in a sham. Welcome to the illusion. If you in that box, it's time to break out of that shit. Our consciousness is too big for a box. Okay? And if you good, you free, you happy, you know all that, you make your money. I'm keep making my money too. I'm doing all that. I'm gonna do business, everything. Why? Yeah, I can have anything and do, because we can do anything in the dream. We're not supposed to be oppressed. The only thing keeping us being oppressed is your fear. It's fear itself. There's nothing to fear except fear itself. And the more you keep sharpening your sword, if you read those books, the more you keep sharpening your sword, the stronger your mind becomes, and the stronger your soul becomes, and the stronger your energy becomes, and the stronger your heart becomes. So the stronger your heart becomes, the stronger your sense of understanding your beingness, your root and your beingness, that nothing is going to separate you from the love of God. Nothing is going to separate, because you are the child of God right now. And that's what I'm saying. If God wants us to be close to him, and we read this book, we read a book. If God wants us to be close to him, it wouldn't be confusing, because being confusion is going to take me out the way. And it's confusing. This is how you know it's confusing, because now that we asking questions, the church ain't got no answers. The church been acting like they had all the answers for thousands of years, going around telling the world what to think, telling the world how to be, telling the world what wars are playing, who to kill, what to eat, how to dress, how to have sex. You have to answer for that. If you can't stand up to some goddamn questions, then you don't deserve my soul. You don't deserve my attention. If you can't answer my questions, you don't deserve for me to serve you. If you can't answer my questions and make sense, when I dig up, okay, if you're a Christian, okay, and you dig in the word and you go find some stuff 10,000 years ago that's not supposed to, how in the world are they anointing his feet before his burial? Jesus not even born yet. Why am I finding this in the story? And from the hundreds of times, this happens in every text. We got Native Americans taking communion. I'm talking blood and body and bread of the God. Native American blood of the God in Australia, ancient Australia. I'm talking ancient Australia, like rainbow serpent, ancient old. Body and blood. We got the. Don't you know Egyptian boys got circumcised on the 8th day? That was Egyptian custom before Moses even took his first poo-poo. Moses not even born yet. Let's go back further. Abraham don't exist, okay? I'm talking about when Abraham didn't exist. Before some guy named Abraham was born, little Hebrew boys was already getting circumcised on the 8th day as the covenant to the Most High God. So that is not something that Moses holds authority over to say this is something that belongs to this religion. This is a more ancient practice, a more ancient thing that has to do with us as human beings. Symbolism, not some religious bullshit that if I don't understand and believe, I'm going to die and go to hell. Because at the end of the day, that's the other part that don't make sense. If you don't understand these things, you're going to die and go to hell? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Just because I asked a question and I found some stuff that empirically alters the paradigms and question things. Just because I found something, all of a sudden I'm going to go to hell because I asked a question. No, you need to take that off your mind. Take that trap off your mind and expand your consciousness and go forth and free. Because actually the spirits say the time gonna come forth when the dead gonna hear the call and come out the grave in the womb. Come out the grave of the body and the grave of the old psychosis, of the mental psychosis that we have been in for so long. He said the time gonna come when the dead gonna hear the voice and come out the grave. There's gonna come a day when you gonna believe and you gonna know that I am. The Christ in the story said, "I am in you, you in me, I and the Father, and we all one." And when you understand in that day, you're gonna ask the Father whatever you will, and it shall be done. But watch that Christianity though, because Christianity gonna try to box in the interpretation of what that means, how far you can go, of what that means. No. I am the being. I am God. I am God's son now before I learned how to read. I'm God's son before I picked up this book. How is a God going to take this book and take away from me what is mine by rights, happiness and peace and understanding and full understanding in my mental capacity and flourishing, and try to box in what that means and box in what I can and can't do with life, and then on top of that, not answer the questions that go with it. That's not answer my questions on top of that. I'm just saying words that can maybe it might jog your thinking and free you from the matrix. Let me go and wrap this up. People walking out saying we got duped. Why are they saying that? Okay. Have courage. Walk your truth. Because this is the thing. This is the thing. The only way you're going to find out what true is by pressing that button. You got to press it. Press it. Press it. You got to try it. You got to try the spirit. You got to try it out. You got to see for yourself. Because I still got my joy. That's the thing. I still got my joy. I got joy and peace and goodness that I can't explain it. Where does it come from? I shouldn't even have that. Especially me being in my situation. Everybody know me. I'm the chief of sinners. I wear that bad. Yo, I sin on purpose, nigga. Just to see what's gonna happen. Yo, I sin on purpose. I sin on purpose just to see what's gonna happen, nigga. And the more I keep living and trying and moving, I just keep seeing what we call God getting better. Our understanding of what God is don't make sense. It don't make sense. We don't need it. All right, we don't need it. Okay. I'm wrapping up with this. There's a story in the Bible. Okay, they got to the Red Sea. Okay. They had just left Egypt and they had the Egyptians chasing them and they were scared for their life and they got up to the water. And then they got all the way up to the water and they said, oh God, how we gonna make it? Like we're at the water, we need you to do something. Like, why'd you bring us out here to die, Moses? And then Moses cried all night. He cried all night to God in the story. What was God's answer to him? He said, Moses, what's that in your hand? He had his staff. In other words, the power is in your hand. Use it. Jeremiah said, oh Lord, oh no, you chose me to speak to the people, but I'm too small, I'm nothing. God said, stop saying you can't, son. I called you before the womb, before you was born. Stop saying you can't, because you do. I made you to dominate and to get over all your enemies, and so to speak. Stop being scared. Ezekiel, there's a story in the Bible. Talk about Ezekiel. Ezekiel said, look at this valley of dry bones. What we gonna do, God? These bones been in this valley. And they've been in this valley so long, and behold, they're very dry. It even went so far to give you the extra description that said these bones is very dry, meaning they've been in that condition for a long time. An impossible situation is the point, because if the bones in the ancient culture, if the bones is bone dry, that means there's no meat left on them, there's no life. This is an impossible situation. This situation is worse than Lazarus in the tomb. But God told Ezekiel, he said, speak to the bones. He said, you do it. He told Ezekiel, you do it. The power is in your hand. Chapter 37, symbolically. Now, I'm wrapping up with this. Christ said, you can ask whatever you want and it shall be done. Christ said you can have whatever you want and it shall be done. It shall be done, okay? What if I ask for peace on earth now? Why do I have to wait to get to heaven? If we all know this, so why do we have, if there's some crazy gospel story, why does God have to let that happen? No, we know it's bullshit. Nobody was wreck. We supposedly we just waiting for Jesus to come back. What? We know it's bullshit. We just waiting for Jesus to come back because enough people haven't heard the gospel yet. Even though he could have, with 500 billion coming in a year. You know, the church make $500 billion. You see what I'm saying? Ask the question again, like we could have been gospel. Why the church making $500 billion a year, and the world don't know the gospel yet? So that's why Jesus ain't come back, because everybody ain't heard the message yet. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. Cause I'm sitting here, shit fucked up. They fucking my people. They dumping poison on the family, putting poison in the food. That's okay. Just keep waiting, cause Jesus gonna come back and wait on it. Well, Jesus said I can have whatever I want. What if I said no? I don't want to wait till then. I want peace on earth now. I want happiness on earth now. I want to start doing things now. Why don't you get up off your behind, like David said? Why don't you get up off your behind and come down here? Stop delaying, okay? Stop. Religion is delaying the progress, okay? Religion is delaying the progress because it got you docile constantly in this cycle. Keep going every week. Just keep on going every week. Keep going every week, and you keep going every week, but ain't nothing getting done. All this money coming in, all this time to be talking with each other, all this time to be giving each other information and growing, and we ain't doing nothing with it. We ain't doing nothing with all this church, all this opportunity to speak to each other. We're not capitalized because we just keep going and giving our money and broke and hurt and broke, and then 2 years later we still going and giving our money. We about to start. We about to do this. We about to do that. And the next 10 years later, we still going and keep giving our money. And just keep giving our money and just keep giving our money, and nothing's getting done. Just keep hanging on, yo. Keep living, keep having fun. I know I'm stirring up energy, but I'm actually having a lot of fun, because life ain't gonna stop. God ain't gonna stop. Love is not gonna stop. Growth ain't gonna stop. Human interconnectivity not gonna stop. Conscious development and intertwining is not gonna stop. Hope ain't gonna stop. That's life. And this thing about it is, you know, God, all God gotta do is kill me. That's if you believe in the Christian story. You know what I'm saying? You say this much, the Gnostics get upset at you. You say this much, well, the materials reductionists got a problem with it. You say this much, oh well, you know, the Buddhists got a problem. Yo, we all hearing this. We all hearing the same thing, breathing the same oxygen, cuz. We all breathing the same oxygen. We know the same stuff. And now it's time for us to come together, because we can. It's time for us to keep growing and keep learning, because we can. And it's time for us to just be bold and step up to the plate. You ain't got to do nothing special. I'm going to end with this. You ain't got to do nothing special. All you got to do is be yourself. All you got to do is be yourself. That's easy. If you being yourself and doing the best you can, well, then you being a child of God.